helping your players develop individually, okay? So one part is going to be strictly shooting. We're going to deal with shooting form, gathering the ball, which means how to grab the ball right before your shot, preparing your shot, rhythm, and release, okay? I'm going to kind of run through these things, and when I finish, if anybody would like to ask my opinion on something or you want me to clear something up, feel free, okay? Let me see that. Okay. Shooting form. That means the mechanics with which you shoot the ball. I'll be the first to say there's no correct or incorrect way to shoot a basketball. Okay? So what I'm telling you today is not the correct way, and if you do something different, that's the wrong way. That doesn't exist. Shooting the basketball is science. It's physics and geometry. What you want to do is give the ball a high arch, a heavy backspin, and a straight backspin. I'll use this ball so you can understand what I'm talking about. It's much easier for the ball to fall into the basket if it's coming from a high arch, and it's much easier to fall into the basket if it has a backspin, which is straight. We get this line. You see this line that cuts the ball in half? You want your backspin to be straight, which means vertical to the ground. If it's sideways or mixed up, you have less chances of making the shot. Okay? Now the arch, if you can kind of instinctively understand this, if you send the ball straight, it's much harder for the ball to see the space inside the rim. Now if the ball falls in from a higher point, it's much easier to take advantage of the space that the rim gives you. Okay? Now spinning, the backspin, helps two things. The first thing is if you don't swish the shot, if it doesn't go directly in and it touches part of the basket, part of the rim, the downward spiral helps the ball fall in. Okay? Well, I'm going to try to make a shot without swishing it, so you can understand what I'm talking about. That was a good example. With the downward spiral, if the ball touches on the basket, it has better chances of falling in. That's actually what shooter's roll means, giving the ball the proper spin, so if you don't make it directly, it has a chance of going in. If the ball spins sideways, sorry, this is an exaggerated example, of course, but if the ball spins left, I'll try to miss again, sorry. If the ball spins left, and it touches somewhere, it's going to bounce left. If it spins right, it's going to bounce right. I mean, that's pretty easy to understand. If the spin is mixed, you don't know. You leave it kind of up to chance. If there's no rotation, the same thing. You kind of leave it up to chance. So a high arch and a heavy backspin and a straight backspin gives you the best chances to make your shot. Is it 100% successful? No. Are you going to make every shot? Is it impossible to make a shot with crooked spin? No. But if you want to give yourself the best chances, high arch, straight backspin are your best chances. At the same time, we're playing the game of basketball, which has certain rules. So if I want to give a high arch and a lot of backspin, I can do that. NBA players in the past used to shoot free throws like that. It's probably the best way to shoot a basketball. Still, you got to practice. Not that easy. But that right there, that's the best arch and backspin you can give. But you can't play like that. So everything we're going to show today, everything I'm going to share with you today as far as how you use your body, your hands, and your arms to shoot the basketball has to do with giving the ball arch, backspin, under the restrictions of the rules of the sport. Okay, so you have somebody guarding you, you can't travel, you must get the shot off in time. So I have found that these are 4 4 or 5 very important points in order for you to keep becoming a better and better shooter as time goes by. Now the first thing is your legs. You want your legs to be low and your hips and your butt to be backwards, okay? Can you help me out, please? The rebound? Yeah, okay, thanks. Matter of fact, use your ball. Having your legs low and your butt backwards, and also the foot on the side that you shoot. So I'm a right-handed shooter. My right foot is going to be a little further. This is the best position for balance, okay? So I'm balanced right now. Side to side and front to back, I'm balanced. Also, by lowering my body on the backside, I'm able to give push to the ball. All this energy pushing up must go to the ball and help it with the distance, with the arch, and so on and so forth. Also, best idea is to have your feet pointing to the basket. So, balance, force, and direction to the basket. A lot of people talk about that. They like to have their feet turned. It's not a bad thing. On a lot of shots, of course, you're going to have your feet turned. But the best idea is to point your feet to the basket as often as you can, because if you tilt your feet and you jump normally, you're going to jump to the side. So the energy you're giving the ball is to the side. But your target is straight ahead. Where your feet point is where the energy from your vertical jump goes. So you want that energy to go towards the basket. So from the waist down, this is probably the best thing you can do. And that's pretty much it from the waist down. Now, how to hold the ball. I'm very big on using your fingers. With your fingers, you can control the ball. Okay? With your palm, it's difficult. The most exaggerated example is to try to hold the ball with your palm on top of the ball, which is pretty impossible. Or if you want to handle it, you can dribble hard. If you use your fingers though, even if you put your hand on top of the ball, it's much easier to manage. So if you want to send the ball to the direction that you want to, it's much better to handle it with your fingers. Now the shooting hand starts on top of the ball, and the helping hand is on the side. Okay? That's another thing that kids at a very young age, because their hands are small, they tend to put their offhand in front of the ball. Okay? Because that's the only way to bring it up. Use their palm and the hand in front of the ball. If you learn at an early age that you can control the ball with your fingers, even somebody with smaller fingers can actually handle the ball. Matter of fact, can I use one of our little friends? Come on. Come on, come on. Give him a hand. Okay, I want you to try to hold the ball only with your palms, okay? No fingers, right hand on top, left hand on the side. Only with your palms, no fingers. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Try again. No fingers, only your palms. Got it. See, she's kind of squeezing it in. It might fall. All right. Now, just use your fingers and don't even squeeze. I don't even want you to push on it. Which one's easier? This one. Okay. You want to try two? Okay. Try with your palms. One on top, not on the bottom, on the side. There you go. Don't cheat. Hard. Cheating a little bit, but it's kind of hard. Now I want you to put your fingers on the top and on the side of the ball. Only your fingers. Here you go. Which one's easy? This one. Okay. Thank you. So even if you're coaching younger kids and they say, "Oh, my hands are too small, I can't hold the ball," yes, they can. That's the whole point of having fingers. Actually, that's what separates us from most other animals on this planet. We have a thumb and we have fingers that we can use to hold things. It's a shame not to use them if you play basketball and try to hold the basketball with your palm. Okay? So more control with your fingers, shooting hand on top, helping hand on the side. Okay?
When we show the release, we'll see that you want to finish your shot with your shooting hand. Okay? You don't want to push the ball with both. Now, the offhand is going to work as support to bring the ball up, and then it's going to work like a guide, a ruler. You know how in school you have a ruler to draw a straight line? Your offhand is there to use as a ruler to send the ball to a straight line towards the basket. So if you do anything other than this, like if you put the hand in, if you put your offhand in front of the ball, first of all, it's kind of like blocking your own shot, which makes absolutely no sense. And if you do this, you're gonna have to pull this hand out, then push with this, or kind of, you know, maneuver the ball with both hands. That messes up your arch, it messes up your rotation. It's just not an efficient way to hold the ball before you take the shot, okay? So you wanna have the ball, the shooting hand on top of the ball, and your two fingers pointed towards the basket for the same reason your toes point to the basket. If I finish my shot towards the basket, then you see that clean rotation, that straight rotation. But if I grab the ball with my fingers pointing to the side, that rotation is going to be tilted a little bit, okay? So, hands on the ball, shooting hand on top, helping hand on the side. We already talked about the lower body. Now, how far and where do I keep the ball in front of me? Again, my experience shows that if you keep the ball in a distance where your elbows can touch your ribs and your elbow is bent, okay? Bent in a way where when you bring the ball up, it can start its path to the basket. And if you do this, that's probably the best spot to start to begin your shot, okay? Because from this spot, you could load and then start the path to the basket. I'm in favor of keeping the ball in the middle. A lot of players shoot from the side because they could load their elbow underneath the ball. I'm in favor of keeping the ball in the middle as much as we can because it is in the same line with our vision. So if I'm aiming straight, I want the ball to be in the same path of my eyes looking at the basket. You do it on the side, mechanically it might be a little better because your elbow is under the ball, but aim straight, you kind of shoot the ball diagonally, or do you shoot the ball straight and aim diagonally? That's a little bit of unconscious confusion in your brain as far as I'm concerned. Now, are you going to have to shoot a shot from the right side? Yes. If I'm driving to the right and I got a hand in my face and I got to pull the shot from the side, yes, it's not a bad shot. Or if I'm driving left and I have to swing it to the left a little bit and finish my shot from the left, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong. But if I'm shooting a free throw, or if I'm open and I swing the ball from the side, not efficient. It's much better to just stay in the straight path, okay? So, we have our hands on the ball, as we said, feet, legs set up. And another question is, where do we aim? A lot of players don't really aim. Where do you aim when you shoot? He doesn't aim anywhere. Where do you aim when you shoot?
The ring?
Nowhere. Huh?
The ring?
The ring?
Yeah.
The ring is a big place though.
The back of the ring.
Back of the ring. Come on, George. Kind of got the back of the rim. I'm trying to miss the proven point here. There you go. So I got the back of the rim. I hit the spot that I was aiming at. Anybody else? Ideas? Where do you aim when you shoot, you guys that play? The truth is that most players don't consciously aim anywhere. But where's the only position that you can aim, and if you actually hit your target, the ball's going to go in every time? inside the basket. Be more specific. Somebody. The back of the net. Say it again.
Center of the ring.
Give him a hand. The center of that circle right there. That's the only spot where anywhere you are on the floor, if the ball goes in the middle of that circle right there. All right. Now that I want to make them, I'm missing them. Not good enough. The center of that circle right there, no matter where you are, how far you are, how close you are, the center of that circle right there is where you want the ball to go. Anywhere. Now you're going to say, hey, come on, man, but there's nothing there for me to aim at. And I'll say, yeah, that's true. But just like a ruler, when you're in school, you have a, what do you call it where you draw circles with? Compass?
Yep.
Compass, okay? So there's a needle, you stick it in your notebook, and you draw a circle when you're in geometry class. When you take the compass out, what do you have there? You have a circle and what else? You have a small hole that it leaves in the paper, right? If you can imagine that somebody drew that rim up there with a hole from the compass, if you can imagine that every time you shoot, you're going to have the proper point to aim at, okay? Well, come on, coach, that's hard. I got to think about that every... Yes. Yes. Is there anybody that plays darts here? Darts? Nobody?
Yes, coach.
Oh, they don't go to bars yet? No darts. Okay. Pool? Does anybody shoot pool? Yeah. Pool. Anybody else? Billiards? Pool? No? You're going to make me have to go to the hard questions. Did anybody shoot guns here? Oh, me, everybody. Whenever you do these things, you always aim. Okay? When you shoot pool, you aim every time. When you play darts, you focus every time on the target. It's the same thing with basketball. I understand that from experience, you kind of aim towards the direction of the basket, but you got to be really specific for where you aim. It makes a huge difference. The more you focus on that one position, the more you coordinate your body and your shot to be successful, okay? Now, the only exception is when you shoot off the backboard, okay? But that's a totally different logic of shooting, and if we get together again at some point, I will explain that as well, okay? But I think I'm already like late for everything else. But if you want to swish a shot, it's a good idea to aim right in the middle of that circle. Now let's go to the release. I'm going to keep it quick and simple. Shooting the basketball is one fluid, synchronized, and quick, swift motion. Any extra movement that you don't need does not help your shot. So starting from the shooting position, one motion is the best for you to give the ball a proper path to the basket. You want to start pushing with your legs and lifting the ball at the same time. Okay? Now, while your body is still going up, you want to finish your release. How do I finish my release? The simplest motion possible. Up and out towards the basket. Okay? Not forward. I don't want to push the ball forward. Up and out. I want you to pay attention that the ball is going to leave my hand while my body is still pushing up. All of my body is still pushing up. You want to get the maximum force from everything your body does and transfer it to the ball. Get all that energy transferred to the ball. There's a lot of players that shoot on the way down. You guys ever seen this? Many players. You're pulling the ball down and trying to send it to the basket. It's in your best interest to send the ball to the basket while your body it's still pushing up. Your legs have a lot of force. Okay? See how high the ball can go if you use that timing to give the leg force to the ball? Way up there. Now that's not a good shot because I'm going just for the height, but it'll help you with your distance, it'll help you with your arch, and your arms are going to be much more comfortable to direct the ball and guide it instead of get that strength to make it to the basket. A lot of players shoot over their head. I'm sure you've seen similar shots to this. Okay? That's because instinctively some players try to reach the basket with the ball with the strength of their arms. So they have to drag it back and send it to the basket. Your arms and your hands are there to direct the ball, to guide the ball. The strength to get the ball towards the basket comes from right here. This shot looks much more comfortable than something like this, whether you make it or not. Plus, when you're in actual game situations, you're going to need all that strength and all that force from your legs in order to be able to take those shots under pressure. While you're tired, under pressure, with defense in your face. Okay? The best and most simple thing to remember, whether you're a player or a coach, is to bring the ball right in front of your nose. Okay? Lift the ball and it comes in front of your nose, then start the path to the basket. Try not to drag it behind your head as much as possible. Timing, of course, is of essence. The whole motion should be in one motion, as we said before, and swift, quick. Now the release. I'm going to face you so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. The release, you want to extend your elbow and bend your wrist all the way and glide the ball off your fingers. Okay? Yeah. Extend the elbow and flick the wrist all the way. The elbow helps the arch, flicking the wrist helps the straight direction and the spin. Clean, swift, one motion. As we said before, the offhand is like a ruler and support. Supports the ball until it reaches on top of the forehead, and then it works as a guide. So when it stops, it remains motionless. Okay? You don't want to drag your arm out or pull it back or do any unnecessary motion. Now from the side, you guys can see, I want the path of the ball to be up and out towards the basket. Any other type of extra movement, whether it's sideways or out, back, and then forward, all those extra movements in your shot just create a path for the ball to go to the basket that is not efficient. Okay? And it's not stable. If you keep your body motion as stable as possible and with the least unnecessary movements possible, then you're going to have the most necessary path to the basket with the ball. Okay? I like to leave that follow through just to make sure everybody sees it, that my shot is clean, like my teammates, my opponents, and the predisposition that your body has is to shoot and run somewhere. If you do that, then mentally you probably don't believe in your own shot. Okay? So if you shoot the ball and you start running to the basket, you're actually telling yourself that, oh my God, I might miss, let me go get that rebound. Okay? That would be nice. Like if you shoot it and just run back on defense, that's more confident. But if you just stand there until the ball reaches the basket, that's, besides the fact that you just let everybody see that you have a nice form, besides that, you're the person with the ball is the most important person on the floor at any given time. You're the most important person at that time because you're shooting the ball, okay? So just sit there and keep your focus on your goal And I promise you that's a much better thing than thinking about, like, what am I gonna do after? Okay, you shot the ball, let 4 other people jump for the rebound, okay? Hold your follow through, be confident with it, and I think you'll find that your results are going to be improved. Okay, now let's go to the coaching part. I got 15 players, and they all have little tweaks that they need with their form. Okay, what do I do? Come on, fellas. Spread out on the floor facing these people anywhere. Warm-ups is a great time to do individual work. Ball handling, shooting, passing. It's a shame if you use your warm-ups for drills with no ball, like running up and down or stretching. Like, call your players in a little early if you don't have time on the floor and have them warm up and stretch before you jump into practice. Now, I've found that doing form shooting with no basket, with no pressure of either making the basket or, you know, anything else like that, is a great way to help guys and girls improve their form. So, from everything we've said, I would like to see all you gentlemen get low, shooting hand on top of the ball, offhand on the side. Make sure you use your fingers, okay? Make sure you use your fingers. The top of your body should be relaxed. See how relaxed Steph Curry is when he makes shots? You don't want to be all tight, okay? So, we're right here. And do a couple of form shots, and I want you to pay attention. I really want you to pay attention to the spin of the ball, okay? Even if you don't have a line in the middle like this, you can actually tell if the ball has a straight spin. Now, this right here, everybody notices this, but nobody ever talks about it. If I grab the ball like this, and I form shoot it, you can see that the rotation is straight. But if I grab the ball like this, you can't tell. You really can't tell. So it's a good idea for coaches to tell their players, hey, you see where the little air hole is? Make sure it's between your top 2 fingers. That way, you yourself as a player can actually examine the ball and see the type of rotation that you're giving it. Second of all, without moving your feet, go through the shooting motion and have the ball come back to you. So you don't have to go get it. That means that you can give the ball arch and backspin, and it'll come right back to you. Okay? While they're doing that, you as a coach could walk up to each guy and give them small pointers on their shot when you know it's on. Let's go. Let's go.
yapalım. Tak.
We can share the. I feel bad with the kids coming behind me.
Now I know that you didn't hear what I said to each one of them individually. Okay, that's okay. If you're a coach and you have players, especially young players, spending 5 minutes doing form shooting in the air and walking up to each player individually and whispering something in their ear can be very beneficial to them. I told each one of these guys just one thing that they could do to improve their shot a little bit. It's up to them as well. I could tell them something 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, 100 times, and they might not want to do it. My man, what's your name, dog? Samuel? Simon. I told Simon something I saw in the shot and said, hey, but I'm comfortable doing it like this. Well, that's fine. You know, you can continue shooting like that. Okay? But me as a coach, I'm going to prove to him in a second that it is in his better interest as a shooter to kind of manipulate his hands on the ball and his rhythm. Okay? Now, some players are not going to want to change the way they shoot, the way they dribble, the way they play. There's nothing you can do about that. But you also cannot quit on them. I personally give the same players the same advice time and time and time again because I believe in what I do. I believe in things that I know about the game, and it's not nice to give up on young people. It's like your kids when you tell them to study. Okay, you know it's good for them. Come on, go do your homework. But it's boring. Yeah, I know. But school is going to help you in your life. You know that as a parent. You should know that as a coach. No, they don't know that yet. They think that hanging out with their friends is, you know, more valuable than studying or doing something else. So we as parents, I have a daughter too, you got to explain to them that you got to get the work done and then you can have fun. That's what I told Simon. Hey, it's more comfortable for me, stay at home, get a bag of chips, watch a movie. That's comfortable. Instead of sitting here dealing with all these guys and their shooting, you know? But what's better for you? Being in the gym, eating well, working out, working on your game, that's better for you. It's more comfortable to do something else, but it's better for you if you work on your game. So giving that information to the players time and time again and paying attention to each one of them individually. Each one of them had something different about their shot that I noticed, and I gave them a small piece of advice. They might take it, they might not. But if I'm their coach on their team, if you guys coach a group of young people, boys or girls, on a regular basis, you should have something to say to each and every one of them every single time you see them. Okay? So, the simple form shooting in the air and having the ball spin back to you is a great way to place your hands on the ball, focus on body motion, because there's pressure when you shoot to the basket. You want to make it. That's the pressure. So a lot of players are going to revert to their original style of shooting because instinctively that's how they want to. That's how they believe they're going to make it. So a drill like that for form shooting during practice, to me, is very, very valuable. It might seem a little boring. It might seem a little simple, but there's actually a lot you could do when you just watch a player shoot the ball in the air and have it spin back to them. Thousands of other drills, but a step one type of drill for me, I've found it very helpful with players at all levels. I work with anything from little kids to professional players in Greece and Italy and Spain. And when you actually put somebody on the floor with no basket and see their form, you can tell a lot about it. Okay? The next thing that I consider very, very important is gathering. Mattia and I were talking about that yesterday. Now, when we gather the ball, that means when we pull it in to the initial spot that we begin our shot. Okay? So, we might gather from a pass, okay, or we might gather from a dribble. That's the two most simple examples. I see a lot of players. Matter of fact, I'm going to receive 2 passes from George, okay, and I want you guys to tell me the difference that you see. Anybody? Tell me.
The first one you received with both hands parallel, and the second one it was like more oriented to shooting.
Boom. The first time I received the ball just by grabbing it, okay? Hands to the sides. And I had to readjust my hand while I was going up for the shot. That could create a little bit of confusion. So a lot of times what I see players do, if they're open for a shot right here, they get the ball, their feet are looking this way, and their hands are on the ball to the side, so they have turned to the basket and readjust their hands. Well, guess what? By that time, the defense is not stupid. They're already in your face, okay? So it's not that you end up having a bad shot, it's that you're taking too long to take the shot. So gathering the ball, to me, starts with your feet, having them already pre-planned towards the basket, and being able to receive the ball and be in shooting motion right away. Everything we talked about before with form shooting, that initial position, when you receive the ball, you want to be ready for that shot, whether it's a pass, in motion, or if you're dribbling and you pull the ball in. Now, dribbling, with the pass, it's kind of explanatory. I just expect the ball and place my, hey, try to do this with your palms. Try to grab the ball in a shooting position with your palms. Okay, could happen.
I was a little bit of fingers, hard to get out.
Okay, this is where fingers come in really handy. When the ball is traveling towards you at a high speed, it's a little better. Grab that ball with your fingers so you have control over it. That could be, possibly, if you use too much palm, why a lot of players receive the ball with their hands on the sides and then they have to readjust and your timing gets thrown off. Now, gathering from the dribble is a totally different story. Now, this is where keeping the ball in the middle comes in very handy. Okay, whether I'm dribbling with my right hand and pull it in, or my left hand and pull it in. If I pull it into the middle, I can go straight into my shot, okay? Now, here's where being a right-handed or left-handed player comes in a little tricky. So I'm a right-handed player. And if I'm dribbling or going through moves, I'm gonna put my hand on the side so I can pull the ball in. So that instinctively, again, brings me to this position right here. Well, if you're a right-handed player, you pull the ball in from the side. Last second, though, twist that hand on top of the ball so when the left hand comes in to meet it, you're already in shooting position. Okay? Well, you can't do that with your palms. It's kind of hard to dribble, drag the ball with your palms, and gather. So players that tend to shoot with their palms, they're going to be more like this, twist, and shoot. Doesn't help your arch and rotation, doesn't help your timing, okay? But if you use your fingers, and you bring it in from your palm, see how I can twist my shooting hand on top of the ball last second, and keep my offhand on the side. Now me as a right-handed player, from the left dribble, it's much easier because you pull the ball in from the side and the shooting hand just meets on top and you can go for it, okay? I'm sure that a lot of these players here and a lot of players that you guys see, if they're right-handed, for instance, it's much more comfortable for them to shoot off the dribble when they're dribbling with their left. Well, that's the reason, because dribbling from my left, I could pull it in and go straight into my shot, but from the right, I got to twist that shooting hand to get it on top of the ball, okay? So whether you're expecting a pass or whether you're coming off a dribble, it's very important that you work on gathering the ball and shooting position. Now, come on, coach. My teammates suck. They're horrible passers. They never pass to me into that small pocket where I need the ball. Give me a bad pass. I'm expecting a shot, and his pass came right here. Not a good pass, okay? Whether I pull it in with one or two hands, go ahead. Bad pass. Oh. See that? I already have my hands in shooting position. Like I pre-planned that, so I could just drag it in the middle and go into my shot. If he gives me a bad pass and I just grab it, then it's much more difficult to bring it in, readjust my hands, and so on and so forth. Even if it's just with one hand. If I grab it with one hand, I could gather it in shooting position and go into my shot right away. So it's really, really, really important to pre-plan your shot. Like your shot preparation is before the ball even comes to you, okay? I'm in a corner shot. If I want to pass, if I'm open, and my feet are looking at him, and I grab the ball with two hands, I have to turn, readjust, and then take the shot, okay? But if my feet are already towards the basket and my upper body is towards George, and I can accept that pass with my hands ready to shoot, much easier to go into that shot right away. All I have to do is grab that ball, bring it to the middle, and I'm ready to go in shooting motion. Whereas if I'm standing up, I did this on purpose, I swear to God. It's a lot tougher for me to stand up, grab that ball, turn around, set it up, and then go into my shot. It's much easier when my lower body is ready, my hands are ready on the ball, and I turn around and let it fly. Okay? Well, everything needs practice. So, what the hell kind of drills can I do to help these guys help their gather? Again, no basket. Let's go, gentlemen. Come on, come on. Same thing. Face these kind of people here so they can see what we're doing below. So, what we want to do is have our body ready. Okay? Self-pass and prepare my fingers on the ball right. Okay? That's all you got to do. Hey, no moving your feet, no steps, no standing up. Down low, ready to go. Self-pass. Hands ready to shoot. Again. Let's go. You see how almost none of them can keep their lower body steady. Okay? That's called habit. That up and down, you don't really need that. Okay? Hey, do me a favor and just